Majestic UI is finally open to the community, and you're invited to make your first open source contribution if you've never done it before. Overall, I have 3 really exciting announcements. Number 1 is the fact that Majestic UI is now open source, so go to majesticui.com and you'll get to see the contribute button. Upon clicking that, you'll be directed to the official Majestic UI Flutter repository. The repository now has a really good documentation along with a contribution guide. Let's quickly go over it. The contribution guide says that there are many ways to contribute. You can publish a widget for the community. We'll go over that in a bit. You can report bugs or make feature requests for existing widgets, or you could enhance the existing documentation. Right after that, I've listed some conventions that we should all collectively follow when contributing to this project, which will inevitably become more standardized as we move forward. For state management, the ultimate goal is to be agnostic. However, the project primarily uses provider. Therefore, you can choose whichever state management solution you wish while contributing a new widget. Once an agnostic state management solution is decided upon, contributed components will be updated to support that. I've also listed down some important directories. The SRC folder is where all of your widgets are supposed to reside. So you can clone this repository and create a new package under the SRC folder. I've also added the command using which you can create a Flutter package. Just take a note of the pubspec.yaml file for any of the existing packages. These are all the details that you must provide. Every pubspec file has a name property with a value that is created by default as per Flutter and Dart standards. You are required to specify an appropriate label for the package, a description, a type, whether it's a widget or a page, author and preview URL are optional. Then we have the app folder where you can put your demo code and test the Flutter package. Just go to app/lib/UI and create a folder with the same name as your Flutter package. Finally, register your widget or page as a route and you're all set. This will be a really amazing opportunity for all the newcomers out there who have never contributed to an open source project. You're all invited to contribute in your own ways. Your changes are more likely to get approved in a relatively newer project. And it's okay if you make mistakes. We've just started. We'll make mistakes, reiterate, and improve this project over time. I really love the spirit of this one comment that I received. Okay, let's move on to update number 2, the Majestic UI CLI. To get the latest version, just run the command .pub global activate Majestic UI. This will install the CLI or update it if you already have it. Once activated, run the command Majestic UI and you should see a beautiful welcome text and an explanation on what the CLI tool is all about, along with usage and available commands. There are 3 available commands. Help will bring up the same information once again. Let's see what happens when I write Majestic UI docs. It launches the documentation in a browser window so you can visually check out the documentation or any of the components that you wish to work with. Finally, we have the add command. Earlier, you could only add one component at a time, but now I can write Majestic UI add auth page, categories page, onboarding page, and avatar. As soon as I execute this command, a loading indicator appears. And once the loading is complete, it tells you exactly what was done. So it added 4 files for auth page at this location, 1 for avatar, and 11 for profile page. You can open a file simply by clicking any one of these links. I've also improved the dependency installation process. When you import components with third-party dependencies, you can now opt out of adding them to your project. By default, all the dependencies are ticked and ready to be added to your pubspec.yaml file. However, you can pick and choose which ones to install through an interactive CLI environment. This is really helpful if you already have certain dependencies in your project or want to stick to specific versions. For example, if you don't want cached network image, you can simply navigate to that option, unselect it using the spacebar, and press enter. In this case, only provider and auto-size text will be added to your project. The CLI also includes helpful error handling. If you forget to specify a component name, you'll receive an error message that includes both a sample test command and instructions for accessing the documentation. Well, this was enough. I could have stopped here. But after completing this, I asked myself, what if we could have an entire community that builds and hosts their own UI components, both for themselves and others, using Majestic UI? This leads us to our third and most important update, the publish feature. At the top, you'll now see a publish option. When you click it, you'll find a linked video and an option to connect your GitHub account with Majestic UI. Clicking on the connect button authenticates you seamlessly with GitHub, after which all your repositories are displayed over here. Let's say I want to import a project that hosts a sport app UI in Flutter. I'll tap on it and right away I can see all the files and folders inside of this repository. Now all I need to do is click on the scan button. Here's what happens in the background. It verifies whether this is a valid Dart package by checking for a pubspec.yaml file and a lib folder. After which it goes through the lib folder, extracts all of its content while keeping a track of the folder structure. Once the scan is complete, you'll see this details form. Let me walk you through it. The project name sport_UI is fetched from pubspec.yaml file. Community packages use the prefix community/. The name is derived from the label property in the pubspec.yaml file. The project's URL is also extracted from the pubspec.yaml file. So make sure that your Flutter project is compatible with Flutter Web and is hosted on a server. Lastly, you get to categorize your package as a widget or a page. I'm constantly adding new features, so if you want to stay updated, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave the non-subscribed group and join the subscribed one to get notified at the earliest. Once you're done, just click on the Publish button. I'll review your submissions on a regular basis. Since we don't have a notification system yet, you can just notify me on Discord after a successful submission, or you can just reach out if you face any issues while publishing your own package. I'll review it and let you know if any changes are required. For now, I have approved the community package, and when I refresh the page, you'll see that the package is now listed under the page section. Let's click on the Sport UI and check out the generated documentation. Under the Setup Manually section, you get to see all the code inside of the lib folder. The dependencies are properly extracted, and you get a command to add this component to your Flutter project. I'll copy this command and run it in my test Flutter project. And there you go. The complete package with the correct structure is added inside the Majestic/community folder. Now I get the option to install necessary plugins. Since Cupertino icons is included by default in every Flutter project, I'll unselect it. I'll also unselect Firebase Core. Let's say that this project already has that dependency. Now the only dependency that is left is Jiffy. When I hit enter, Jiffy gets added to my project. In just a few clicks, you've published your package to Majestic UI. Even while it's under review, you can install it using the command Majestic UI add community/your package name. Imagine the possibilities. One command can kickstart a new project with all dependencies, project structure, and starter code, whether you're using block, provider, MVVM, or MVC. That wraps up this set of feature updates. The project is still just building up, and we need to standardize our code, community packages, and components to better serve Flutter developers. I invite experienced developers to contribute to the official repository, and I'd love to hear your feedback on new features that can make your life easier. The amazing response to Majestic UI shows that there's a real need for such a tool in the Flutter community. You can join the Discord server to connect with me directly. We have an amazing community of 12 members. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.